Activity 2.3 is called Get Connected, and in this activity you're going to do a couple of different things that are a little bit different than what you've done in the past. For one thing is that you'll notice you're going to get into the idea of what Bluetooth is all about. Now we use Bluetooth, most of us, on a daily basis, but what really is Bluetooth and what does that allow us to do? Well, in our case, it's going to allow us to connect one microbit to another, and it's going to be really important for you to actually test this out. Most of you at this point will have had a partner that you've been working with, so I do highly encourage you to continue working with that partner. If you don't have a partner, you're going to have to program the microbit and then get another microbit set up so that the one microbit communicates with the other. And this is going to take you to a little bit about the background story about where Bluetooth, where that piece of technology came from. In 1997, a new wireless technology was developed that connected many digital devices. So it's been around for a little over 20 years, 21 years. It's going to tell you a little bit about the symbol and a little bit about where the icon and that image came from. Pretty interesting information. If you look at the back of the microbit, you will see the BLE antenna. That deals with the Bluetooth. So the microbit has that Bluetooth capability already built into it, which is really nice for the communication piece. It will take you through, and at this point you all know how to do the different definitions and so forth. When you get to the actual MakeCode website, you're going to come across the radio drawer. Now again, it's going to look a little bit different because MakeCode has been updated, but this is the same idea. It's going to send a signal. So it's going to take the signal from one microbit and it's going to send it via Bluetooth technology to the other microbit. Take the time to watch this video. This video is about variables. We've covered variables a lot already. However, this is going to be really important to really kind of set the stage for the next couple of activities that you're going to work on. So here's a great example right here. One of the first things you'll learn if you do Python coding at the high school level is hello world, and it's actually print hello world. And that's a very basic line of Python code. This is going to show you what do you think str means in this example code. You should know at this point that str is going to deal with the string. A string is basically some words, some letters connected that are in that text string right there. Here's a very easy piece of code. On button A pressed, show number, length of howdy. So it's not going to show the word howdy. Instead, it's going to show the number of letters in the word howdy or whatever words you program. I do encourage you to take a little bit of time in the MakeCode website and to do these activities with it. It seems pretty simple, the code. However, there's going to be a bigger meaning behind it once you get rolling with all of it. Calculation. This is a pretty fun one here. This is actually going to send you the answer. Now obviously 5 times 6 is not a super complicated math problem. You can get more advanced than that. It's the idea of on button A pressed, set x to 5 times 6, radio send value answer equals x. So if you're thinking about the other microbit being connected, it's going to show the number x. So this x here relates to this, which relates to the question. So there's multiple layers to this piece of code. Not super complex, again, however, you need to understand that the set x goes here to here. Event handlers we've talked a lot about. Import the math hex file. Obviously take the time to do that. Go ahead and work through that problem. Emulator, again, is when you get, we'll just take this project here. This is going to go back just a little bit here. I do want to show you what this math hex file looks like. Click the import button, and I'm going to import it. Choose the file. Yours is going to look different because you don't have all the file structure set up. Mine has the downloads file here, which is similar to what you would have. Takes a little bit of time to load the project. Then once the project is loaded, I'm on the JavaScript tab, so I'm going to click back on blocks to see what this looks like. Now you should at this point be able to break this down pretty easily. I'm going to drag this down here out of the way. What this is saying is on button A, this is the emulator. Now you're going to see the second microbit appear based off of this radio activity. So set X to 5 times 6, radio send the value. So let's test it out over here. So when I push A, it's going to send the value to the next microbit, which it seems pretty basic. However, it's a pretty neat thing that's going on at that part. And you're going to walk through those steps right there. The emulator we just looked at a little bit ago. As you press the A button, the BLE antenna symbol is the upper right corner. It's going to talk a little bit about data packets. What's the value of X? It's going to talk about the processor. Here again comes code tracing. Now, I'm not too concerned about you code tracing everything. I'm more concerned about you attempting to do the code. So set X to 5 times 6, set X to X plus 6, X divided by 6, and then send that message to the other microbit. Test it out on the emulator, get it connected, and try that. Here's your code tracing chart, which we've done before. Smart devices, this is going to tell you a little bit more about how watching movies or TVs or playing an online game, how all those things are going to work. Remote control, change the number 0 to any number between 0 and 255, so test that out. And there's your radio signal. And when you have, again with this, it's going to pop up 2 microbits. It's pretty intuitive and it knows what you're trying to do. Get down here, we've done this before. You don't have to redraw it again. You already have it once. Just a quick refresher on what the different symbols and what the purpose of those different symbols are. Your code for the first event handler created, activity 2.1. You can go back to that activity, check back in your notes. Most of you take very good notes. Here's what you save the hex file as. It's a great idea to get in the habit of actually saving it the same way it's recommended. Activity 2.3, send data hex. That just stands for your hex file. Connect the battery pack. In order to make the microbit truly work as a Bluetooth, you have to have both battery packs hooked up. It cannot be, to truly test it, you don't want to just connect it and then plug it into the computer. You want to download your code, put the battery pack together, and then come talk to me. You can walk out in the hallway. We can test it in different locations. It's kind of like the idea of sending a text message to somebody else. Debugging steps. You've already hopefully written that down before. You don't have to write them down again. It's a refresher. Here's a challenge option, and then there's your conclusion questions. As always, most of the conclusion questions are in PowerSchool Learning. Complete the challenge option. Click it. And it's going to take you through some different output components, how to hook those things up. You can test this out as well. I do need to see, and I will show you on the screen, which part of 2.3 that I need to see. So if you have questions, refer back to the video. It talks with the compass, talks with the, there's a couple different LEDs. There's LED lights that you're going to hook up. There's a lot of really cool things with this. Input, output, digital output. Connect the yellow or the brown to pin 0. Everything is walking you through nicely. So best of luck with 2.3.